I added this slide about what is ferritic steel, which is basically a type of stainless steel, because the examples are given for cleavage from here, and that is why I just wanted you to know a little about. Of course, you can go to the net or to the book and find much more about ferritic steels. So now we will look at some fractography. Remember, right? Photography. So this graphy means photos, and fractography means photographs of fracture surface. And I have told you so many other times before that when we want to do microstructural analysis, BCC, FCC, this, that, then we need very good microscopes, not simple microscopes. But if you want to do and study fracture surfaces, then these even very good digital optical microscopes are not good enough. We have to go to things like scanning electron microscope and transmission electron microscope, where you can go to 2000 magnification and 5000 magnification and so on, right? So fractography is just microscopic level of fracture photographs. So in the next figure, 518, it is an SEM, right? Scanning electron microscope, fractographs of cleavage fracture in a low alloy steel. Multifaceted surface, multifaceted, many faces, typical of cleavage in polycrystalline material, right? That you just see some big faces. Each facet or face corresponds to a single grain, right? The way one grain broke. And river patterns, you see, we will see the figure, but you see if the river is passing through some area, and now the river has passed and you just see the marks on the sand or the gravel, right? Then there are lines and lines and lines which are like that the river passed through this earlier. So in these fractographs, these patterns are called river patterns on each facet, also typical of cleavage fracture. So first of all, that one typical common normal thing in cleavage fracture is that there will be many faces or facets. If they are, right, because these faces are at microscopic level, so we are calling them facets. And then on some of the facets, there will be river patterns. So these two things, facets and river patterns, are typical of cleavage fracture in their fractographs. So named because multiple lines converge into a single line, much like tributaries to a river, right? That there are small, right, portions from which water is coming from here and here and here and here, and then they join together and make a river. So it is like that in a way. So let us see, right? If you see this much size is 10 microns only, right? So it is highly enlarged. You see 2, 3, 4 inches there, but this much is 10 microns. So the whole thing is only maybe 50 microns. And this is even more enlarged because this big distance is only 5 microns now. So SEM fractographs of cleavage in A508 class 3 alloy, which is one of the stainless steel ferritic steels that we are seeing. So if you see here that there are big faces, 1 face, 2 face, 3 face, there are big faces. And those river patterns, right, lines which converge, right? If several lines which are converging here, and several lines which are converging here, and several lines which are converging here. And if we enlarge this, then you see only 1 face, 2 face, 3 face, only a few facets. But in each one of them, these river patterns are also there. So when you see that you have seen the fracture surface, but there are no major dimples, right? No major dimples as you see in ductile fracture. So, and there are big faces only, and there are these lines. Then these are typical fractographic pictures of cleavage, right? We will see on the next page in the figure more details of formation of river patterns. Propagating cleavage crack, right? The cleavage crack, propagating means which is growing, right? Which is moving. It encounters a grain boundary, right? Cleavage crack is there, it encounters a grain boundary. Nearest cleavage plane in the adjoining grain is oriented at a finite twist angle from the current cleavage plane. You see, there is one grain in which the cleavage is progressing. So it is progressing along some line which is a preferred slip plane, but now it hits the other grain in which the direction in which it can flow is different. So it was going in one direction, now it has to change direction in the other direction. So that is what we are saying. Nearest cleavage plane in the adjoining grain, the grain which is just next to it, is oriented at a finite twist angle. So when this happens, that you are traveling on one slip plane and now you have to change direction to the other twist plane, then it is called a twist. And if you remember from your earlier basic material science, where you were studying at the microscopic level the defects and the flaws, so you see you had twist, right, as one type of defect and problem. Initially, cracks form on several parallel planes. As multiple cracks propagate, they are joined by tearing between the planes. This process consumes more energy than crack propagation on a single plane, right? On each plane, crack is propagating and that needs some energy. But when there is a tearing between the planes, then there is more energy. So there is tendency for multiple cracks to converge into a single crack. Then in the next figure, we will show you fractograph of river patterns in a low alloy steel, and you will see tearing between parallel cleavage planes, which is now evident. Now I try to remind you that, you see, this is the first time you are doing fracture mechanics, and this is the first time in the course you are doing the material level of what are the mechanisms that cause fracture. So if you take a second course in fracture mechanics, if you start working in a company where this study is their routine day-to-day business, then within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month, you will be doing the same thing again and again and again. So very quickly you become very confident in reading these diagrams and the fractographs and so on. The same is true when we do microstructure, right? When we are working in a materials company where materials engineering is a routine business, but they are not making hundreds of different materials. They are focusing on making only a few types of steels or only a few types of aluminum alloys. You join Sohar Aluminum, for example, and they will be making only 2 or 3 or 4 major aluminum alloys. You join Valley Steel and they will be making only a few types of alloy steels. So here you see, you are studying 20, 30, 40 different subjects. And then in one subject, you are studying so many different chapters. So there is this just one chapter about mechanisms that cause fracture. So you go into the material science background. So here we are just being introduced to these, but even then when you study this thing one time and then you revise it a second time and then you prepare for the final exams and so on, then you already become good. But even then, this is just an introduction, right? So to become good, you need a second course and a third course and maybe work in that environment. So that is always there, that at this level, we don't worry about becoming champions of this. We are just being introduced to it. So at an introductory level, if we are good, that is enough for us for now. So let us see, right? This is a schematic diagram. Formation of river patterns as a result of a cleavage crack crossing a twist boundary between the grains, right? So you see, this is one cleavage plane. This is the other cleavage plane. This may be another cleavage plane. So you see, this plane is parallel to this plane, right? This cleavage plane is parallel to this cleavage plane and so on. The crack is propagating in this direction. But this means that this is one cleavage facet and this is in one grain. This is another cleavage facet in another plane. So when you cross from this facet to this facet, for example, right? When you cross from one to the other, then the change in direction will definitely happen. So then this line will form this direction, then this direction will form. So this this is happening on one plane, this is happening on the other plane, they join together, right? So when we are very enlarged, we are seeing only one or two faces or facets, and the joining, right? That the flow is in one direction, the flow is on the other direction, and then they will join. So river patterns will be formed, right? And there are twist boundaries, right? From one boundary, if you go into the other boundary, across that boundary, there is a twist, there is a change in angle that is happening. So this is just an explanation of the mechanism. And now we are back to the actual fractograph, right? So river patterns in an A508 class 3 steel. Tearing the light areas. You see, this is a dark area, and this is a dark area, and this is a dark area. But these light areas are between two planes, right? So here a cleavage facet is there, there a cleavage facet is there. Between them there is a tearing. So light areas are tearing between parallel cleavage planes, and right. So cleavage on this and cleavage on that have to join together. So there is a tearing between the two, and the light areas are there, and a lot of them, this is highly enlarged, and a lot of them will join together. So if you see, that is not very, there will be lines, so the river patterns will be there. So again, even I, right, even I don't have a degree in materials engineering at my bachelor's level, at my master's level, at my PhD level. I have a degree in mechanical engineering. But when I went from bachelor's to master's, I took some higher courses in materials. When I went from master's to PhD, I took some further higher courses. So I have a PhD in design and manufacturing, or materials and manufacturing. Because, right, I have told you so many times, and I tell you in my other seminars and so on, that if you want to be good in design and manufacturing, then your materials has to be good, and so forth. So design, manufacturing, materials, this is my area. But that means that though I do not have a basic degree in fracture, I do not have a basic degree in materials, but I have to use them. So I use some of my knowledge of materials in my areas, but I am not like say Dr. Majid, who has a full degree in materials engineering. But Dr. Majid, even though he has a full degree in materials engineering, he does not specialize in fracture. He is so this is how it grows, that you are doing a bachelor's degree and you have done courses in mechanics and solid mechanics and materials and manufacturing, and now you are doing an elective course in fracture mechanics, where towards the end of the course you are trying to understand fracture mechanics at a materials level. So this is new, but whatever we are trying to understand at this level, that you must. So now we go back to mechanisms of cleavage initiation, right? We have introduced cleavage to you. We have told you that as an example material, ferritic steels, which are a class of stainless steels, are very important. We have told you that cleavage happens where big fracture surfaces called facets are there, and whenever they are there, then when it breaks from one grain into the other, or from one facet to the other, those river patterns can be formed. And we have shown you some fractographs at that level. So now we try to understand, just like we did in ductile fracture, that cleavage has to initiate and cleavage has to travel. So what are the mechanisms of cleavage initiation, right? I am just copying this figure, which was earlier there also, right? That when we are ahead of the crack, the distance from the crack tip, and stress and strain, right, how they are changed. So we can use this figure again in explaining mechanism of cleavage initiation.